Part 8. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 71. On the afternoon of the third day, a large number of people arrived, including 7 or 8 people. The leader was their local county magistrate and forest farm director, also surnamed Ma. I don't know if he is related to Mr. Ma. There were also 2 deputy county officials. Director and deputy director, an office director and 2 secretaries, 1 male and 1 female. Mr. Lee is also there, but Mr. Ma has disappeared, probably because he knows that he is no longer welcome in this company. The specific matters were discussed with Mr. Tan by a deputy director surnamed Sunday. Mr. Tan asked Zhang Chen to participate in the whole process. Deputy Director Sun exchanged greetings with Mr. Tan and suddenly asked, "Mr. Tan has been in the military?" Mr. Tan said yes, he has been at the Yulin base and has not left Hainan since he changed jobs. Deputy Director Sun smiled and said, "I have also been in the Navy, right here in this area. I was at the Zhanjiang base. However, I changed my career and returned to my hometown." Mr. Tan slapped the table. "Right? What a coincidence. What year were you in the military?" 72. Deputy Director Sun said. "Oh no, it's such a coincidence. I was born in 1972 too. By the way, did you go to the naval battle in 1974? Mr. Tan asked excitedly. "We went, but when we arrived, you had already won," Deputy Director Sun said. Other people around him also became excited and thought this was a coincidence. The horse farm director said, "Really, in that case, you are still comrades in the trenches. Damn it, didn't this flood wash away the Dragon King Temple?" Everyone laughed, and furthermore, the 2 of them were actually from the same recruit company in Zhaoqing, but they were not in the same platoon. In addition, everyone got together in a hurry and went their separate ways in a hurry, so they had no chance to get to know each other. With such a relationship, other things are easy to talk about. Zhang Chen sat in the conference room and felt that everyone was just joking and reminiscing about the past. They basically didn't talk about things related to work and engineering, and the time passed in a flash. It's dinner time. There were 7 of them, including Mr. Tan himself, Xiao Zhong and Zhang Chen. There were exactly 10 people at a table. Dinner was set in a private room on the 3rd floor of the Nance Huang Hotel. Zhang Chen entered the box. Although he was engaged in decoration and had seen a lot of information in this area, he still felt that this box was too damn luxurious. Just the imported crystal chandelier alone made Zhang Chen want to more than 10,000 yuan, more than 10,000 yuan, you could buy a house at that time. Those who came from the north were leaders after all and had a deep sense of self-cultivation. Although they were also overwhelmed by the luxury of this box, they remained calm. While waiting for the food to be served, Deputy Director Sun picked up the karaoke microphone and made sure to sing a duet with Mr. Tan. The song was Camel Bell, but soldiers like to call it Send Off Comrades. 2 people, one left hand, one held the microphone in his right hand, and the other hand was placed on the other's shoulder. When they sang Comrade, Comrade, Dear Brother, the 2 of them were already in tears. While they were singing, the racecourse manager cheered them on and danced with the female secretary on the dance floor. Others stood by and applauded them desperately. When the food was almost served, the waiter reminded them that they could sit down, and Mr. Tan invited everyone to sit down. Everyone had a great time at this meal. They drank 4 bottles of Louis XIII worth more than 6,000 yuan a bottle, and a bottle of Maotai. Those shark fins, birds' nests, lobsters, civets, and even Zhang Chen had never seen them before. But I heard Jin Lily say that she finally opened her eyes today. When paying the bill, Zhang Chen sat next to the small clock. It was Xiao Zhong who paid the bill. The cashier was very clever. Knowing that it was a banquet, he sang out the amount and told them that your total consumption is 53,000 won. 126 yuan. Everyone except Mr. Tan and Xiao Zhong were stunned for a moment. Then the racecourse director and deputy director's son said, "Mr. Tan, you are spending too much money." Mr. Tan said proudly, "Aren't we all happy today? Happiness is better than anything else." Everyone said that they were so happy that they were already too drunk. Mr. Tan glared, "This can't work. How can it end like this? Xiao Zhong, let's sit down for a while. You send the two secretaries and Xiao Zhong back first, and then pick them up. We will go to Daowen Hotel to sing, and then the second half will begin." The director and Mr. Li stood up knowingly and told Mr. Tan and the horse farm manager that we should go back to the hotel first. The horse farm manager did not comment, and the other deputy director waved his hand. When the 6 people arrived downstairs, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhong said, "I came here on a motorcycle, so I'd better ride back. You can see them off." They shook hands and said goodbye in the parking lot. Zhang Chen rode his motorcycle and rushed home. Today is the weekend, and Jin Lily should be at home now. Xiao Zhong sent the 4 people back to the hotel, and then returned to the private room of Nance Huang Hotel. He gave Mr. Tan his bag and car keys, and said to him, "Should I leave first?" Mr. Tan nodded. Xiao Zhong and Mr. Tan said that there were 3 8-box rooms, and Mr. Tan said he understood. Zhang Chen returned home. When Lu Ligan and Jin Lily heard the sound of motorcycles downstairs, they both leaned out of the corridor. Jin Lily shouted, "Zhang Chen, don't come up, let's come down." Zhang Chen parked the car, and before waiting for a while, Jin Lily and Lu Ligan got out. Zhang Chen asked what they were doing. "What are you doing? You're so damn good at eating spicy food." "We haven't had dinner yet, so we're going to eat water spinach with garlic paste," Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen shouted, "I just had a meal that cost more than 50,000 yuan and drank a bottle of wine that cost more than 6,000 yuan. What the hell do you want me to go to eat at a food stall that costs 100 yuan? You won't give it to me either. Leave some time for reflection." Jin Lily shouted, "Did you see it, Pole? I just said that this guy will show off when he goes to Nance Huang. Is that wrong?" Lu Ligan smiled and said, Yes, he is so cool. If he eats 100,000 yuan, he will not even be able to brush his teeth. He will kiss you for 15 minutes so that you can share it." Disgusting," Jin Lily cursed and kicked Lu Ligan, who laughed loudly. The 3 of them sat down at the food stall, stewed the salted fish and eggplant with chopsticks, and drank a sip of cold beer. Zhang Chen was stunned and cursed, "Damn, those over 50,000 yuan are no different from this, those 6 it costs more than 1,000, but it's not as delicious as this Imperial Sisters." Jin Lily rolled her eyes at him, and Lu Ligan scolded, "Don't pretend, at least it will let you show off for several years. You will forget about this tomorrow." Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, "Don't tell me this, it actually makes sense." "What's the truth?" "This is the truth," Lu Ligan said, "our Lily is still simple. You see, she has been through wine and meat, so there is no need to show off. Every time I humming pay the bill, I think, you pigheads, save this meal, give me the money, and I can burn incense and make offerings to you," Jin Lily scolded. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan laughed. Zhang Chen said to them, "There is another strange thing. You said that in Yongcheng, a county magistrate, in my opinion, is like a god, but damn, here we are today, together with these county magistrates and deputy magistrates. Why don't you feel anything when you drink, just like a shit?" Jin Lily said, "What's weird? It's because they are shit. The people I eat with now are the director, deputy director, deputy director, etc. They are all better than our Yongcheng County magistrate. I didn't feel anything either. I used to be in the bearing factory and the humming factory director would stand in front of me for a long time, and I would tremble all over. If you go to work at the United Nations and deal with the president and the president every day, these ministers will look like shit, Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen talked to them about today's scene for a long time, and Jin Lily asked, by the way, how is your project? It makes sense for Jin Lily to care about this. After all, it is related to Zhang Chen's commission. If the project fails, Zhang Chen's commission will also fail. How do I know? They went to sing. Today, they didn't mention much about the project, Zhang Chen said. It's okay, it's done, it's a done deal, Lu Ligan said. How do you know? Zhang Chen asked curiously. Lu Ligan glanced at him and cursed, I think your more than 50,000 yuan of food was in vain. No amount of food can save you from being an idiot. Do you think that if it was really an ordinary singing, I wouldn't take you with me? Zhang Chen suddenly realized, and Jin Lily also said that the Pole was right, these people were such hooligans. Do you know there is a saying? It talks about the relationship between people, Lu Ligan asked. Zhang Chen and Jin Lily both shook their heads. Jin Lily urged, speak quickly, say something. This means that friends are divided into 5 levels. The first level is more senior and closer than the first level. The first one went to the same school together, the second one went to the countryside together, the third one carried a gun together, the fourth one went to prostitutes together, and the last 2 are friends. Tonight, they will be at the 4th and most hardcore level, Lu Ligan said. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Niang. Chapter 72. Okay, I want to write it down, Jin Lily shouted. Zhang Chen scolded, why do you remember these nonsense things? It's fun, you hear how fun it is, Jin Lily said. Lu Ligan also said, Zhang Chen, don't underestimate these. This is the essence of folk literature. It highly summarizes an era. Don't think that folk literature only has Liang Shanbo and Zhu Yingtai. Zhang Chen sighed and said, okay, even if what you say makes sense, it seems that we, Mr. Tan, are not such a person. Jin Lily snorted, and Lu Ligan said, are you stupid again? It's not whether he is such a person, but if he wants to do things and do things well, he must be such a person. Look at Jin Lily and the others. Mr. Xia, does he look like such a person? Does he want to do such a thing? Must, Jin Lily shouted. Right, this has nothing to do with whether he is such a person, it is the general environment. This is a society that forces girls into prostitution. Do you understand, Zhang Chen? Lu Ligan said. I don't understand, and I don't want to understand, Zhang Chen muttered. Look at Jia next door, can you tell she is Ding Dong? Lu Ligan asked. Yes, she is, Jin Lily shouted. Go away, that's prejudice. No, it's a beautiful woman's deep-seated hatred for another beautiful woman. That's nature, Lu Ligan cursed. Jin Lily opened her eyes wide, looked at Lu Lizan, and shouted, no way, Zhan Zi, you are so protective, tell me, do you have a story? There are ghost stories. Now I have stories with Yilin's mother. We meet every day and we have money exchanges, Lu Ligan scolded. Zhang Chen and Jin Lily were both laughing. At noon the next day, just after lunch, Zhang Chen's BB phone rang. When Zhang Chen saw it, it was the phone number from Mr. Tan's office. Lu Ligan smiled and said, the big deal has been decided. Now we need you to work overtime. Zhang Chen ran to the shop and called back. Sure enough, it was Xiaozhong, informing him that he would have a meeting at the company at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and that the design plan of the Northeast restaurant needed to be adjusted. After returning to the room, she spoke to Jin Lily and Lu Ligan on the phone. Jin Lily cursed, did you see it? No matter what, a capitalist is a capitalist, even if he has a good foundation and exploits you, there will be no negotiation. Before 2 o'clock, Zhang Chen arrived at the company. After a while, Mr. Tan accompanied a group of them in. This time, Not even the racecourse director attended. Only Deputy Director's son, the office director, and Mr. Lee came. And a male secretary. After everyone sat down in the conference room, Deputy Director Sun and Zhang Chen said, "Designer Zhang, after discussion, we have reached a consensus that we need to change the original decoration plan." Zhang Chen said, "No problem. Can the leader tell me your requirements?" "Requirements, requirements, the general requirements are like this. In short, after the restaurant is built, products from our forest farm, such as mushrooms, fungus, pine nuts, vermicelli, etc., will be continuously produced. We hope that here, it can reflect the characteristics of our forest farm." "Do you want the original taste?" Zhang Chen asked. Yes, this designer is still damn smart, Lao Tan. This word is used well. It is authentic and makes people feel our forest farm as soon as they arrive here," Deputy Director Sun said. "In short, that is, we need to make this place a beautiful business card for our forest farm." Zhang Chen cursed in his heart, "Damn, the beautiful scenery has become a beautiful business card again," but he immediately had an idea in his mind. Zhang Chen had never been to Heilongjiang, but their troupe had performed in Outsmart before. Powerful Tiger Mountain, the props and scenery of this play are still piled in the practice room. Zhang Chen knows how to do it. When Deputy Director Sun saw Zhang Chen standing there, he thought he didn't understand what the beautiful business card was about. Deputy Director Sun continued. "In short, every year, so many leaders from Heilongjiang at all levels come to Hainan. We want them to feel at home as soon as they enter our restaurant in this corner of the world." "I understand," Zhang Chen said. "I plan to do this, leader. I am going to change these walls to logs, as well as the tables and stools, all made of logs, and that one, isn't there a sofa in the box? We don't need a sofa anymore. We can make a Kong in the place of the sofa so that guests can get on the Kong as soon as they come in." "That's right, Lao Tan, you are a very smart soldier. You can tell the truth with just one point." "That's what I mean. We have a lot of this wood in our forestry. Don't be stingy, but you can build it as hard as you can. If it doesn't work, I'll give you a train of leather," Sun said the deputy director. Zhang Chen got up and told Deputy Director Sun that the leader would sit down for a while I went to draw a sketch. "Is it okay so soon?" Deputy Director Sun looked at Mr. Tan and asked. "Okay, he has quick hands," Mr. Tan said. "Still a quick shooter, Lao Tan. What about that thing?" "Let's get rid of that thing too," Deputy Director Sun said. Zhang Chen looked at Mr. Tan and didn't know what that thing was. Mr. Tan smiled and said to Zhang Chen, "Master Sun wants you to calculate the budget increase. They have to rush back the day after tomorrow. The racecourse manager has an important meeting to host on Tuesday. Tomorrow, I also want to accompany them to visit Sanya." Zhang Chen understood. He said, "Yes, I will do it as soon as possible." At that time, decoration companies had to provide designers with budgets. After all, no one except you knew where to use materials and how high the requirements were. Zhang Chen returned to his desk, moved the things on the table, spread out the paper, pens, and paints, and was ready to draw. Mr. Tan followed behind him, picked up the drawing pencil, and wrote a word on the lead drawing paper. "Number." He patted Zhang Chen on the shoulder and told him that the budget should not be lower than this number. Zhang Chen was shocked, but still nodded. Mr. Tan picked up the eraser, erased the number, and then returned to the conference room to accompany Deputy Director Sun and the others. Regarding these changes approved by Deputy Director Sun, to an outsider, they may think that the entire style has completely changed and the changes are huge. However, Zhang Chen knows it well. He knows that these changes are superficial and cost the most money. The hidden project, the ground, the suspended ceiling, etc. were not changed, but some logs and fake Kong were added, which did not cost much. but the figure Mr. Tan just wrote to him, the additional part alone, exceeded the original decoration cost, and the total cost more than doubled. This surprised Zhang Chen and gave him a headache at the same time, because the budget was so knowledgeable that it would be best to add it to hidden projects and materials. Everyone knows the price of superficial things. There are only hidden constructions that no one can see, and a barrel of the same imported latex paint is more than double that of domestically produced paint. While Zhang Chen was working, he remembered what Lu Ligan said last night. It seemed that this project was really completed. Party A and Party B were now the strongest friends. Zhang Chen thought for a while and decided to finish the most troublesome part of the budget first. He redid all the hidden projects that had been completed. The amount of work continued to increase and the materials continued to be replaced. Finally, he managed to get a decent figures. Of course, during actual construction, these completed parts will not be moved even an inch, but if the paper does not move, the money will not come out. After finishing the budget, Zhang Chen breathed a sigh of relief and began to draw the renderings. Zhang Chen was very familiar with this, and his headache no longer hurt, and it was completed quickly. Zhang Chen entered the conference room with a freshly released budget and renderings. He added more than 80,000 yuan to Mr. Tan's figure in the budget. This was to wait for the other party to counter-offer and then pretend to cut it off. Mr. Tan took a look at it. He glanced at the budget and nodded slightly. He made a gesture and asked Zhang Chen to give him the renderings. When Zhang Chen handed the renderings to him, he reminded, "Be careful, Mr. Tan, the paint is not dry yet." Mr. Tan first handed the budget to Deputy Director Sun. Deputy Director Sun glanced at it and handed the budget to the office director. The office director put it in his bag without even looking at it. Mr. Tan handed the renderings to Deputy Director Sun and reminded him that the paint was not dry. Deputy Director Sun took the renderings, his eyes lit up, he stood up, put the renderings on the conference table, and then called to the director and Li General Secretary. Come on, let's see if this thing is what we want, and it's still talented, Lao Tan, you soldier." The director and Mr. Li said together, "Yes, that's right. Okay, I'll take this picture away. This matter is settled. From now on, it will be between Lao Li and you, Lao Tan." Deputy Director Sun and Mr. Tan said. "I made a reservation for Sea Dragon King tonight, let's go together," Mr. Tan said. Deputy Director Sun quickly waved his hand, "If you don't want to eat, don't eat. We have been busy all night on this matter. Lao Ma and the others are still sleeping. I have to go back and take a nap." "Okay, let's have a midnight snack then," Mr. Tan said. "When we arrive in Haikan, it would be a big pity not to go to the Lion House for a midnight snack." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 73. Zhang Chen rode his motorcycle back home. He had mixed feelings along the way. From yesterday to today, this was the first time he knew that someone was making money. It turned out that this was how he made money, and he made so much money so fast. He and Lu Lipol, working hard every day, getting up early and working in the dark for a year, is not worth a fraction of what others do. Back home, Jin Lily and Lu Ligan, each with a chair and their feet on the railing, were sitting in the corridor bragging. They saw Zhang Chen coming up with a gloomy expression. Lu Ligan asked, "What's wrong? Did you get hit again?" Zhang Chen leaned on the railing and told them his feelings. Jin Lily shouted, "What's this, your annual income? Damn, our company makes more money from one business than our bearing factory. It's not surprising that more than 100 people earn more in a year. Yes, don't feel unbalanced, and don't be jealous. Now, we are hard-working bees, and others are the queen bees. We are busy ants, and others are the queen ants. We are at the lowest end of the food chain. Do you know? Lu Ligan looked at Zhang Chen and continued, but whether it is a queen bee or a queen ant, they all grow up from little bees and little ants. In short, we will also become kings one day. At that time, your daily time, even if you use it to fart, the money will fly towards you automatically without any delay. This pole has a high level of consciousness. For people with such a level of consciousness, it is God's law not to make a fortune, Jin Lily said, but busy ants and worker bees make me hungry. Lu Ligan slapped his thigh and shouted, "Haha, I know a good place. I will take you there. Let's eat the dongyang hotpot made by locals from Hainan." Don't you have to go to the crater to eat dongyang hotpot? Jin Lily asked. No, it's on Boa Road. I saw a lot of people when I passed by that day, and they looked delicious, Lu Ligan shouted. When they got downstairs, Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen rushed to ride a motorcycle. Zhang Chen refused, and Lu Ligan cursed, "How about I sit at the back and hold your girlfriend?" Jin Lily giggled. Zhang Chen was right after thinking about it and gave him the key. Lu Lily was at the front and Jin Lily was in the middle. Zhang Chen sat at the last one. He stretched out his hands and grabbed Lu Lily's belt. Jin Lily surrounded her hands. Lu Lipole patted the motorcycle seat and shouted, "Isn't there a belt on it? Do you have to hold me?" Zhang Chen ignored him and didn't let go. Lu Ligan scolded, "I was already hungry, but you choked me like this, and I almost fainted from hunger." Zhang Chen also scolded, "If you're hungry, don't be nagging and leave quickly." Lu Li pushed the gas pedal, and 3 people and a motorcycle rushed forward with a bang. They arrived at Boa Road and stopped in front of a group of low old houses. The roadside was full of motorcycles and bicycles. Lu Ligan gathered these cars together, made a space available, inserted his motorcycle and parked it. Lu Ligan led them for more than 10 steps and arrived at a room with a shabby facade. This facade was about 4 or 5 meters wide, with 2/3 occupied by a partition whose upper half was made of glass. The lower third is an aisle. Jin Lily looked up and saw that the store didn't even have a name. Jin Lily asked doubtfully, "Zhangzi, you brought us to this shabby place, what are we going to eat?" Lu Ligan smiled and said, "You'll find out later." They walked to the glass compartment. Zhang Chen and Jin Lily were startled. They saw baskets of mutton on a row of wooden shelves inside the compartment. There were more than a dozen baskets. The white inside the glass on the tiled counter, there were 2 large aluminum basins, one containing marinated duck intestines, and the other containing pieces of duck blood. Apart from that, there were no other dishes. The glass partition was crowded with people. Lu Ligan ordered 5 kilograms of mutton, a portion of duck intestines and a portion of duck blood. The people inside were writing on the paper while shouting in Hainanese dialect. Probably asking other people to chop the mutton. Lu Ligan paid the money and took the note. The words on the note were flying and phoenixes, which were harder to read than the doctor's. None of them could see clearly what was written. Lu Ligan led the 2 of them inside. After passing through the facade, Zhang Chen and Jin Lily were startled. They saw in front of them a courtyard as big as 3 or 4 basketball courts. A big banyan tree, lush and green, covered the entire yard. Under the banyan tree, there are more than 100 wooden tables. The tables are very short, only as high as a kindergarten child's table. They are small square tables, surrounded by 4 small bamboo chairs. In the middle of the table, there is a clay-fired charcoal-style table. There are large black casseroles on top of the stove, but the lids of the casseroles are made of aluminum and have been bumped and bumped. More than half of the tables in the courtyard were already occupied. Zhang Chen and Jin Lily, judging from the faces of these people and the buzzing in their ears, knew that these were locals from Hainan. They searched carefully and found that they were really, the table that looked like a foreigner was not found either. Lu Ligan told them that it was still early and in half an hour there would be no seats here and they would have to queue up. Lu Li handed the note on his hand to a little girl standing at the entrance of the passage. The little girl led them inside and led them to a table. Without saying a word, she turned around and left alone. The three of them sat down. In addition to the stove and casserole, there were also a bottle of light soy sauce and a bottle of vinegar on the table. Next to it was an aluminum bowl with a dozen small green oranges in it. In front of the 4 seats, there were 4 just the same pitted aluminum bowl and 4 pairs of chopsticks. Although the table is short, with the stove and casserole, it is at a comfortable height. It seems that its shortness is not unreasonable. After a while, a man came over with a big Sprite bottle. He didn't say anything, but just motioned for them to sit farther away. The 3 people moved their chairs back, and the man picked up the casserole and put it on the table. At their feet, and then opening the Sprite bottle, Zhang Chen and the others smelled a strong smell of gasoline. The man sprinkled a little gasoline on the charcoal in the stove, then lit a match and threw it into the stove. With a bang, the charcoal inside was lit. He picked up the casserole, sat back on the stove, and walked away with the Sprite bottle. After a while, a woman came over, carrying a plastic bucket in one hand and a horse spoon in the other. She walked up to them and without speaking, she knocked on the empty seat with the horse spoon. In front of the aluminum bowl, Lu Lipol shook his head and said to her, "There is no one." The woman clicked the 3 horse spoon and filled 3 of their bowls with half a bowl of yellow and sticky dipping sauce. Jin Lily shouted, "What is this?" The woman ignored her, turned around and went somewhere else. After a while, 2 little girls came over. One of them was holding a large plate of duck intestines and a large plate of duck blood. They placed it on their table, then opened the lid of the casserole. Inside the casserole was a pot of duck intestines and duck blood. The milky white soup contains angelica, astragalus, dangshen, wolfberry, and red dates, as well as a ball of grassroots. Another little girl slid a pot of marinated mutton into the casserole. The 2 little girls turned to leave. Lu Ligong grabbed one of them, pointed at the ball of grassroots in the casserole and asked, "What is this?" Courageous, after the little girl said this, she closed the lid of the casserole, threw Lu Ligan away and walked away. Zhang Chen laughed and said, "Damn, it's so fierce. It feels like I'm in Liangshan." Jin Lily also asked suspiciously, "No one in this place speaks?" Lu Ligan thought for a moment and said, "Probably the business is too good and the place is too noisy. If I talk, my voice will become hoarse in about a day." Zhang Chen and Jin Lily thought about it and found that this was probably the case. "Gangzi, don't order anything to drink," Zhang Chen looked at the table and remembered. "This store doesn't sell wine or drinks. You have to buy them yourself," Lu Ligan said. "Then where can we buy it?" Zhang Chen asked curiously. "Is there any hotel in the world that doesn't sell alcohol?" Lu Lipol waved his hand and shouted, "Did you see it? It's all around." Zhang Chen and Jin Lily looked around and saw that there were more than a dozen open windows in the short houses on both sides of the yard. Many people were buying cigarettes, alcoholic beverages, and various vegetables through these windows. Zhang Chen suddenly realized that this is really harmonious. The business of this store is so good, but if he does not sell wine and vegetables, he is leaving other businesses to his neighbors. When the neighbors make money, he won't have any problem with the noise in the courtyard, and he won't be jealous of the owner of this shop. To say that people in Hiken are stupid and lazy is because they don't understand. In their slow pace and state of life, there is a lot of wisdom for survival dormant, but you just haven't realized it. Lu Ligan's BB camera rang. He looked at it and told Zhang Chen and the others, "It's Li Yong. I'll go back and buy some wine." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 74. 10 minutes later, Lu Ligan came back and brought back 2 boxes of wine. Zhang Chen cursed, "You are going to die. You have so much to take a bath with." "Li Yong and Qi Hang are coming over," Lu Ligan said. Lu Yun was playing at their place today. Li Yong detained me and invited us to dinner, so I asked them to come here. Lin Yiyan is coming too, Jin Lily asked. Of course, Lu Ligan said. Great, Jin Lily exclaimed. Zhang Chen looked around and saw a little girl passing by, and quickly shouted, "Little sister, little sister." The little girl came over and looked at them with her big dark eyes. "Little sister, we still have someone here to help us put together a table," Zhang Chen said to her. The little girl said oh and walked away. Zhang Chen thought she was going to move the table. Unexpectedly, she disappeared and didn't come over for a few minutes. Zhang Chen stood up to take a look and saw her. Dishes are already being served from afar. Jin Lily couldn't stop laughing and said, "Are you sure she understands?" "If she doesn't understand, what's wrong with her?" Zhang Chen asked. "Maybe I'm just being polite," Jin Lily said. "Oh, I might as well do it myself." Lu Ligan stood up as he spoke, and the two of them moved the table next to them with the cutlery, stove, and chairs. The two square tables were put together to form a long table. The little girl carried Zhang Chen walked past them with a pot of mutton and glanced at them without any other expression. Zhang Chen was sure that she really didn't understand. After moving the table, Lu Ligan said, "I'll add some food." Zhang Chen said, "I'll wait for them on the roadside. This store is hard to find outside." Jin Lily was sitting alone, her stomach growling with hunger. She opened the lid of the casserole and took a look. It seemed that the mutton was not cooked yet. She picked out a piece of duck intestine with chopsticks, rinsed it in the pot, and put it in the pot. I dipped the dipping sauce in the bowl and put it in my mouth. I couldn't help but smile. It was so delicious, especially the assorted dipping sauce. It was sour and sweet, so delicious. Jin Lily stretched her neck to see if they hadn't arrived yet. She couldn't help it anymore, so she took another chopstick of duck intestines and couldn't wait to rinse it. It was delicious. "Come again." Lu Ligan asked for another 10 kilograms of mutton, as well as a portion of duck intestines and a portion of duck blood. He took the note and talked to the little girl at the entrance for a long time, but he didn't understand how many tables it was for. "Cai, just bring her over to take a look." When he came closer, Lu Ligan was shocked. He saw that Jin Lily had eaten more than half of the large plate of duck intestines. Jin Lily was sweating profusely, with tears and runny nose. She looked at Lu Ligan and said, he smiled happily and said, "This duck intestine is so delicious, I can't help it." Zhang Chen brought Li Yong and the others in. Jin Lily quickly stood up and wanted to hug Lin Yiyan and Lu Yun. She saw that the sweat all over her body had returned. No, it's all sweat. My dear, I really can't bear it. Come on, eat first. This duck intestine is so delicious. You should try it too." The three women immediately squeezed into the table over there, leaving the four men to the side where the food had not yet been served. Lu Yun looked at them and said with a smile, "Ignore you, let's eat first." She took a chopstick and ate the duck intestines, saying it was delicious. Then she ate the mutton and shouted, "This is also delicious." Zhang Chen asked, "Do you want vegetables?" "There are vegetables for sale in the window." Lu Yun raised her chopsticks and shook them, No, we are all carnivores." The locals at several tables around looked at the shouting mainland girls at this table and giggled. They were really conspicuous in this hotel. Jin Lily and Lu Ligan said, "Gangzi, when you get here, you can learn from the Hainan Esset." When everyone heard this, they remembered Lu Ligan's loss of shoes and laughed. Looking around, sure enough, the diners at each table had put their feet on the chairs, holding chopsticks in their right hands and cigarettes in their left hands. Yan's hands rested on his knees, looking particularly comfortable. Lu Yun looked at the banyan tree above her head and told them that this feels really good. "When I was a kid, I ate hot pot like this, under the big tree on the roadside in front of my house." Jin Lily said, "We are like this when the weather is hot. We eat from dinner to midnight snack under a camphor tree. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan knew that she was talking about Jiao Fang in the troupe. Lu Ligan's mutton and condiments also arrived. The mutton had to be stewed for a while. They also started with duck intestines and duck blood. They felt that the food here was so delicious and this felt so good. The boss was very down to earth and the portions of the dishes were generous. After eating 10 pounds of 15 pounds of mutton, they felt a little full. The 5 pounds of mutton was slowly stewing in the casserole. They put more energy into chatting. After not seeing each other for a while, Jin Lily clearly felt that Chen Qiang had become a lot darker. Jin Lily asked, "Qiang, why are you so dark now?" Chen Qiang said nonchalantly, "Selling ham and giving away ham under the sun every day, how can it not be shameful? However, my heart is very fulfilling. Many companies cannot pay wages, but we can still survive." Li Yong also said, "Gangzi, your suggestion of being an exclusive agent is great. Now many people also want to sell ham. However, the 3 most famous ham factories in Suanwei have been taken over by us. They can't compete with us." Lin Yiyan now changed jobs and went to Hainan Development Bank, which should have been a good thing, but she looked unhappy. Jin Lily asked, "Yiyan, what's wrong with you? You don't look very happy." "She is under a lot of pressure," Chen Qiang said. "When it comes to overseas distribution, it is a heavy task to attract deposits." "Really?" Jin Lily asked. Lin Yiyan nodded. She said that it had been more than 2 months since I came in, and I had not completed the task for a month. We were not familiar with each other, but we knew Li Yang's uncle. Where could I get the other deposits? "It's okay," Jin Lily said, "I'll go back tomorrow and discuss with our boss to see if we can deposit our company's money with you." "Really?" Lin Yiyan shouted. "Really, he is so stubborn that I have to ask him to save some of it. I think the boss may also have related customers to take care of, so it will be difficult to transfer them all," Jin Lily said. "Yes, I will ask our boss when I go back which bank this money is deposited in, but I just don't know if our company still has any money," Lu Yun said. "By the way, Lu Yun, what will happen to your golf course after it opens?" Lu Ligan asked. Stop right there," Lu Yun said. "Ah," Lu Ligan was surprised, "what's going on?" "The economy is in a recession. We can't even sell pre-sales of membership cards. Many Taiwanese people who originally made reservations have also gone back to Taiwan. Once the business opens, there are so many people to support and the venue needs to be maintained every day. I guess we will suffer heavy losses," Stop Lu Yun said. "Where are those people recruited?" Lu Ligan asked. "A few stayed, and the others left." "Does that mean your work is in vain?" "Yes, it's all in vain." "Let's start recruiting again," Lu Yun said. "By the way, Lily, how is your company doing now?" "We are okay, there are only a few people, and we own the house, so there is no pressure. If there is business, we can do a little bit. It doesn't matter if we make more or less. Our Mr. Xia said that the main thing is to maintain the old relationship. If there is no business, we can sing in the company. I bought a lot of new DVDs, and a lot more friends came to sing in broad daylight," haha, Jin Lily said with a smile. Li Yong sighed, "Our company still has too many people. Let's open it. Firstly, I can't bear it, and secondly, I can't bear it. If the economy improves again, it will not be easy to recruit these experienced people." After dinner, Li Yong still suggested that everyone go somewhere to sing, but everyone seemed to have lost interest. Lin Yiyan said, "Forget it, everyone has to go to work tomorrow." Lu Yun also said, "I'd better go back early. During this period, our boss has also lost his temper and has a very bad temper. Let's make another appointment on a weekend." Everyone broke up at the door of the store. Zhang Chen and the 3 of them went to the night market in Jifangzi without buying anything. When they got home, after taking a shower, it was already past 11 o'clock. It was still early to go to bed, so the three of them sat down, chatting in bed. After a while, Jianqiang and Jia came back. They seemed to be in a good mood. Jianqiang was still shouting songs all the way. When they arrived at the door of their room, Jianqiang was opening the door. Jia did not stop, but walked towards Zhang Chen and their room. Walking away, Jia shouted, "Brother Zanzi, I brought you watermelon." Jia walked in holding the watermelon. When she saw Jin Lily, she was stunned for a moment, and then said in a panic, "I put it here." She put a watermelon on the table and slipped out of the door as if running away. Jin Lily looked at Lu Ligan, sneered, and kept nodding. Zhang Chen had a gloating smile on his face, but he was secretly afraid. Fortunately, Jia didn't call Zhang Chen brother. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Niang. Chapter 75. As soon as I got to work on Monday, Mr. Ten came over and told Zhang Chen that Mr. Li and the others had received the payment, and it was the full payment at the end. You should speed up the progress. So fast? Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment. He thought that at this time, the racecourse director and the others should not have left Hainan yet, but since they are already the strongest friends, it is not surprising. Zhang Chen said, "Yes, I will arrange the personnel right away." He stood up and picked up the motorcycle key on the table. Mr. Tan saw it and asked, "Is the car you are riding a second-rate car?" Zhang Chen said yes. The second company commander saw that I had to run to Baishamen every day, so he lent me his car. Mr. Tan nodded and said to Zhang Chen, "This bastard, he treats you like a bully. Let's do this. You will ride the car. I will talk to him about the second-rate guy." Zhang Chen didn't understand what it meant. It wasn't until he went downstairs that he remembered that this car was not second-hand, but the company's. Mr. Tan meant that from now on, this car would really be Zhang Chen's special car. Zhang Chen felt a little happy, but also a little disappointed. He had a feeling that he had also participated in dividing the spoils. Zhang Chen went to the construction site of Baishamen and transferred most of the workers to the Northeast restaurant. Zhang Chen rearranged the remaining workers at Baishamen and arranged their tasks. Then he went to the Northeast restaurant to make arrangements. People transferred there. When Zhang Chen rushed to the Northeast restaurant, the morning had already passed. As soon as he arrived at the construction site, the second-hand man came over and said to him with a smile, "Instructor, I have already bought the food and will wait for you to return to the battlefield. We, Hu Hansen, are forced to raise you back again." During the meal, Urquio returned the bicycle key to him, but did not mention the motorcycle. Zhang Chen asked to give him the motorcycle key. He said, "Why give it to me? It belongs to you now." Zhang Chen understood that Mr. Tan had already told him this. Zhang Chen pushed his car keys to the second guy and told him, "You should still ride my car. No, don't worry about me. I'm forced to raise this car. You can still sell this old car for 10 or 20 yuan. You don't need it. If you keep it, you'll just wait for someone to steal it. Sell it." The second-rate guy said that after a while, he took the bicycle key over and shouted, "Forget it, I'll sell it for you. The instructor has so many things to do, he can't take care of such trivial matters." When he was about to get off work in the evening, the second-hand guy gave Zhang Chen 25 yuan and told him that the car was sold and this was the price of the car. "So much?" Zhang Chen asked strangely. When Zhang Chen bought this old bike, it was only 25 yuan. Now after riding it for a few months, Zhang Chen thought to himself that the price should be reduced by 5 or 10 yuan. Unexpectedly, it can also be sold at the original price. The second-rate guy smiled and said, "I sold it to a village boy in the carpentry class." "No wonder," Zhang Chen scolded, "did you buy and sell by force? How is that possible?" I just told him that this is the instructor's throne. You won't get sores even if you ride on your butt. I bought the forcefully raised Pedian. The instructor didn't believe it. Do you want me to call him over and ask? Forget it, Zhang Chen quickly stopped, thinking, you just called him here, and you taught him how to say it, so he will say it. Zhang Chen returned home on his motorcycle and told Lu Ligan about this. Lu Ligan was even happier than him and shouted, this welfare package is really damn good. I am a gold medal salesman at the newspaper. The damn newspaper didn't even think of awarding me a new bicycle to ride, let alone a motorcycle. It seems that it's better to be a capitalist. Damn, our director doesn't live up to his words. By the way, Pol, why do you come back so early recently? Zhang Chen asked. All quiet on the Western Front, the dons here are quiet. Lu Ligan reported the titles of 2 films in one breath. Now, even the customers who pay in kind for advertising fees are extinct. You don't see any major newspapers. Are there fewer and fewer ads every day? I don't read newspapers, Zhang Chen said. I don't look at it either. But Yilan's mother also asked me the question you just asked me. It seems that even the working people feel that something is wrong. The warehouses in Hainan are probably about to be emptied. Lu Ligan was infinitely sad. Said the tent. Does that mean the economy will improve next? After everyone cleans up their warehouses, won't they have money to purchase goods? Zhang Chen said. Shit. You don't even know what time it is, Lu Ligan said. I have some money on hand, so I just go home to celebrate the new year. After the new year, I don't know if I will come to Hainan. Lu Ligan's words reminded Zhang Chen that indeed, there is still more than a month before the Chinese New Year. Time flies so fast. It has been half a year since they arrived in Haikan. Zhang Chen feels that time has passed by. Although it was so fast, he also felt that time was passing so slowly. In just half a year, he felt as if he had spent the first half of his life in Haikan. Now thinking about Yongchen, it feels very far away and strange. Have you ever thought about how to arrange the Spring Festival? Zhang Chen Lu Ligan asked. How to arrange it? Just hang out here and fly back and forth. Lily and I will cost at least more than 7,000 yuan. If we don't fly, we won't be exhausted during the Spring Festival travel. What about you? Same, but I have already written to Tan Shahan, asking her to come to Haikan during the Spring Festival. Lu Ligan said, it is better for her to come by plane than the 3 of us to fly back. Yes, at that time, the planes to the island should be very empty, and the planes leaving the island were very busy, Zhang Chen said. The Northeast Restaurant project is going very smoothly and is progressing faster than Zhang Chen expected. At this rate, it will be completed in about 20 days. Mr. Li often visits the construction site, and he is very satisfied with the progress of the project. He said, in this way, I can hand in work when I return during the Spring Festival. When I come back after the Spring Festival, the canteen will be ready to recruit workers and open for business. Mr. Li's words reminded Zhang Chen that he understood why the progress of the project was so fast. It turned out that the workers were secretly speeding up. They also wanted to finish the work before the Spring Festival. After getting the money, they could join the Spring Festival travel rush with their pockets full. Crowd the boat, squeeze the car, squeeze the train home. Partia has paid all the money for this project. According to Mr. Tan's temperament, as long as he passes the inspection, he will pay the remaining money to them without any deductions. The 2 people have been in contact a lot, and their relationship is naturally close. Mr. Li and Zhang Chen said, what do you think, Xiao Zhang, you can come to our canteen and become a vice president. I can see that you are a capable person. Zhang Chen smiled and said, thank you, Mr. Li, for letting me paint and take care of the construction site. I know nothing about this hotel. Being the vice president will definitely embarrass you. I don't know what it's related to. I've only been in charge of the logistics of our forest farm and the canteen. Let's learn from it, said Mr. Li. Even if you have never managed a hotel, I don't even dare to come. Mr. Li, think about it, if you are an expert, I just need to learn from you. But if you don't understand, and I don't understand either, then the people below will. How can we manage this hotel well if we don't even laugh at our jokes? Zhang Chen said, half jokingly and half seriously, my suggestion, Mr. Li, you should find an expert to be the vice president. Then, when he takes charge of the subordinates, you can just supervise him. It will save you trouble. Mr. Li listened and kept nodding his head. He said, Xiao Zhang, what you said makes sense. Zhang Chen himself was very emotional. He thought, when he first came to the island, he wanted to be a hotel foreman, and even the waiter was hit by obstacles. He wanted to grow coconuts, but they wouldn't accept them. It was only a few months. Someone asked him to be the vice president of the hotel. He is still the same person, and there is not much difference. It seems that it is really easier to find a donkey while riding a donkey. By the way, Mr. Li, there's something I want to ask you for help with, Zhang Chen said. What's the matter? Tell me. After the spring festival, isn't our hotel about to open? Then we must recruit people and advertise. I have a fellow countryman, the only one you have ever met, that Lu Ligan. Oh, Xiao Lu, I know, what happened? He is a reporter from the Talent Information newspaper. If you want to publish the recruitment notice, can you ask him to help you arrange it? His newspaper office has tasks every month. By the way, if you want to publish it in other newspapers, he can also do it, Zhang Chen said. That's all. Right. That's it, I can still make the decision on this trivial matter. You can seize his phone and give it to me. Zhang Chen wrote Lu Ligan's BB phone number to Mr. Li. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 76. Zhang Chen was about to go home from get off work when the company receptionist detained him. He returned to the small shop next to the construction site and returned the call. Xiao Ma at the receptionist told him that it was Mr. Tan who asked all their designers to return to the company for a meeting in the evening. Zhang Chen rushed to the company on his motorcycle, wondering, what happened that required all the designers to sit down and work overtime for a meeting in a serious manner. This has never happened before. Usually, designers work on their own projects, and it seems difficult to collaborate on design work. Everyone has their own design ideas and concepts, and they all stick to them. If you bring two people who have nothing to do with each other together, it will not get better, it will only get worse. Apart from mutual dislike and dissatisfaction, there will be no better result. In the company, only when something like Xiaoxia happened last time, when Partia is always dissatisfied with a certain department and the designer's brain is stuck again, and complains to Mr. Tan, will Mr. Tan take care of other designers? Call them over and ask them to help come up with ideas, but it is only limited to giving out ideas. It is up to the designer himself and Mr. Tan to decide how to make changes in the end. Zhang Chen went upstairs. What surprised him was that Xiao Ma, the company's front desk clerk, did not get off work on time today. When Xiao Ma saw Zhang Chen, he told him to go to the conference room. Zhang Chen arrived at the conference room and saw that the other designers of the company were already in the conference room. They all worked in the company. There was no other person like Zhang Chen who went to the construction site as an on-site construction supervisor. They were not surprised. The strange thing was that there were more than a dozen dishes placed on the conference table. When Xiao Xie saw Zhang Chen, he shouted, "Zhang Chen, come and eat quickly. We have a meeting after dinner." Zhang Chen walked over, picked up a box of lunch, and asked suspiciously, "What's going on?" At that time, there were no food delivery companies. They usually went to the canteen below or a nearby store to eat. The company did not prohibit employees from eating in the office, but it was also something that colleagues brought back for you after eating. I have never had such a high-profile dinner party before. Even if I buy it, I have to send several people there. Zhang Chen now knows why Xiao Ma at the front desk hasn't gotten off work yet and left her here. He must have done this. The other designers all shook their heads, and they didn't know what was going on. Xiao Xie said, "No matter what, you can eat as long as you are told. When you are full, you should behead your head." Zhang Chen and the others had finished eating. Xiao Ma came over to look at them and asked them, had they all eaten? They agreed. Xiao Ma brought 2 trash cans over, and Zhang Chen helped clean them up. When the others saw that they were about to work, they all stood up and slipped back to their desks. Xiao Ma kept saying thank you to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Thank you for anything, it's just a little effort." Xiao Ma snorted and muttered dissatisfiedly. When eating, everyone rushed to come, and after eating, everyone rushed to escape. Zhang Chen knew that she was talking about several other designers, so he didn't speak to her. Zhang Chen asked, "It's so grand today, what's going on?" Xiao Ma shook her head and said, "I don't know either. I just heard Mr. Tan ask Xiao and me to buy food. He said that he wanted to feed you well and that he had to work overtime at night. This kind of overtime is not a common thing. I never heard that I have to feed you well every day." Xiao Ma also felt strange. Xiao was the cashier of the company. She and Xiao Ma went to the store below to buy these meals. They brought the meals into the conference room. Xiao said she had something to leave at home, so she left them behind. Pony is here waiting to be cleaned up, no wonder she is full of complaints. Xiao Ma wiped the conference table clean, and then left with 2 garbage cans. Zhang Chen wanted to help her, but she said no, they were much lighter than when they were brought up, and they all went into the belly of these pigs. Zhang Chen laughed loudly, and the front desk also laughed. After the front desk left, other designers came back one after another. Zhang Chen looked at them, feeling angry and funny in his heart, thinking that these idiots really deserved to be scolded. Xiao Xie asked him, "Zhang Chen, you and that little bee are laughing so happily, why are you laughing?" Zhang Chen said he was not laughing. "Xiao Ma was praising you. After all, you are designers, and you all eat so elegantly." Someone shouted, "It's a pity that there are still so many Wenchang chickens, and they have all been thrown away. I thought there were other people coming to eat, but they didn't dare to use their chopsticks." Others shouted, "Yeah, if I had known this, we would have had some drinks." Several people waited in the conference room for another 10 minutes before Mr. Tan walked in and asked, "Have you eaten yet?" The designers have agreed. "Xiao Xie, close the door," Mr. Tan said. Xiao Xie walked over and closed the door of the conference room. Mr. Tan sat down, looked at them, and said to them, "I have left you here today because I have something important to tell you. I got reliable news this afternoon that Wanghai building will be renovated as a whole, and the decoration will be completed. The plan will be finalized before the year, and all the major decoration companies in Haikan have already taken action, so we are already too late. Is Wanghai building going to be renovated?" Everyone present was surprised. Wanghai Tower can be said to be the most famous building on Haixia Road and even in the entire Haikan. It is a comprehensive building integrating accommodation, catering and shopping. It is a state-owned enterprise belonging to a catering service company. It is 22 stories high and is located in Hainan. When the province was first established, it was the tallest building in Hainan. From the restaurant on the roof of Wanghai Tower, you can really see the sea. It has been compared with other buildings in the past 2 years in terms of height, but its popularity has not diminished, especially the Wanghai Mall attached to it, which was the most upscale and largest shopping mall in Haikan at that time. Wanghai Restaurant is even more famous for having two of the only three national first-class chefs in Hainan, and the other one is at Nance Huang Hotel. Wanghai building is going to be renovated, and everyone here knows how big a project it is. Mr. Tan, is it the overall decoration? Zhang Chen asked. Yes, the whole thing, Mr. Tan said, the rooms and lobby of the hotel, all of Wanghai Restaurant, and the first and second floors of Wanghai Mall, except for the performance hall on the third floor of the hotel, which will be decorated by the tenants themselves. All the rest must be renovated. The entire project it is divided into two phases. The first phase is a hotel and restaurant, and the second phase is a shopping mall, but if you require one design, the entire project will be contracted at one time. Damn, what a big project that must be, Xiao Xie sighed. So I called you here to ask you to put aside all other projects and things from now on and come up with the design plan. The day after tomorrow, I made an appointment with Mr. Fu from Wang Heilu for dinner. During this decoration, he Yan Juding, I hope I can show him our plan the day after tomorrow and get his approval, said Mr. Tan. The day after tomorrow, such a big project, in such a short time, someone asked. Mr. Tan glanced at him dissatisfied and cursed, just for this meal, do you know how many connections I used to finally get an appointment? Do you think you can just ask someone out if you want to, and you missed it the day after tomorrow, dinner? There's no chance. Zhang Chen understood why Mr. Tan said this. He had long heard Lu Ligan and Jin Lily complain that in Haikan, no one would talk seriously in the office. What kind of business should be discussed? In the hotel room, we just drink morning tea together. Whether people are willing to talk to you depends on whether they are willing to accept your invitation. Although this project is big, there are actually a few key points. After thinking carefully for a while, Zhang Chen said, the hotel rooms are very similar. Just copy the designs of other foreign 5-star hotels. Others also I won't care. At worst, after signing the contract, it will be modified depending on the funding situation. Although Wanghai Restaurant is independent, it is inside the building and does not have a separate facade. All it takes is the overall design of the front door and the restaurant. Wanghai Mall, if the appearance does not change, the biggest thing that needs to be changed is the atrium. I think we just need to concentrate on making two renderings first. The most important ones are the lobby design of the hotel and the atrium of the mall. I think these two parts are what they value most. If they can impress, they have succeeded more than half of it, and the rest is to make up for it. If these two parts cannot be passed, there will be no other talks. Okay. Xiao Zhang's suggestion is very good. Everyone will focus on these two renderings and use their best skills. Do you understand? Asked Mr. Tan. Got it, the designers said. The meeting is dismissed. Mr. Tan slammed the table. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 77. The designers stood up and left one after another, and Zhang Chen was about to leave. Mr. Tan called out, Xiao Zhang, please stay for a while. Zhang Chen was about to sit down when he saw the second-rate guy coming in from the door. Zhang Chen asked curiously, why are you here? Erhuo pointed at Mr. Tan, the chief ordered me to come. Both of you, sit over here. Mr. Tan sat at the head of the conference table and greeted the two of them, and they hurried over. Mr. Tan and Zhang Chen said, Xiao Zhang, you are the most important thing to me when we come up with this plan. I called this bastard here just to tell you that you should not go to the construction site these 2 days and come to the company. It doesn't matter, you can just stay at home and concentrate on making the design plan, okay? Zhang Chen said yes, I will work hard. Mr. Tan turned to the second-rate guy, the instructor has never told me, but don't think I don't know. You bastard has an itchy penis every day, so you're not serious on the construction site. You walk the birds every day, right? The idiot didn't dare to say yes or no, so he could only laugh. Mr. Tan scolded, "I don't care what you were like in the past, but you have remembered it for the past 2 days. Stay there honestly. You are not allowed to detain the instructor, and the people below are not allowed to deduct the instructor. Do you understand?" The second-rate guy nodded quickly, "I understand, I promise not to deduct it and let the instructor concentrate." Mr. Tan continued, "Also, the Northeast restaurant needs to be completed smoothly before the end of the year. It will not be easy for the workers. I know they all want to take more money home for the new year. If you are absent-minded these 2 days, there will be no trouble on the construction site. Something happened, don't you think?" "Broken bone, broken dick," the second-rate guy said quickly. Only then did Jiang Chen understand that the broken dick was really the result of Mr. Tan's threat to him. Jiang Chen couldn't help but laugh. Seeing Jiang Chen smiling, Mr. Tan also laughed. Jiang Chen said, "The second company commander is okay. He went to the construction site so early that morning. Fortunately, he stopped Mr. Li and Mr. Ma. Otherwise, the Northeastern restaurant would not be the same now. The story is, I was shocked that he got up so early." The second-rate guy chuckled. "Okay, the instructor has given you a guarantee, so I'll let you go first," Mr. Tan said. Jiang Chen and Huo went downstairs. In the elevator, Huo and Jiang Chen said, "Instructor, there are a lot of good products near this company. I invite you to go and fire one shot after another until dawn." Jiang Chen laughed and said, "I don't dare. I'll beat you until dawn. I'll sleep all day tomorrow. The day after tomorrow, Mr. Tan will break my dick." "That's right, this guy is forced to raise you," the second-hand guy said, "then I'll take you to find the best stuff, and give it a shot to replenish your health." Jiang Chen quickly said, "Forget it, I'm going back now to think about it. I don't know if it's too late. You go and occupy the high ground alone." The idiot clicked his tongue regretfully before giving up. Jiang Chen looked at the time. It was not yet 9 o'clock, and there was still more than an hour before Wanghai Mall closed. Jiang Chen rode his motorcycle to Wanghai Mall, walked around from the first floor to the second floor, and wrote down the floor plan several times in his mind. Finally, he felt uneasy, so he took out the sketchbook in his bag and wrote down the floor plan. The locations of doors, stairs, elevators, and restrooms are specially marked on the map. After looking at Wanghai Mall, Jiang Chen then went to the lobby of Wanghai Hotel next door. The locals used to call this place Wanghai Tower, but in fact, there is no place really called Wanghai Tower. Whether it is a shopping mall, a hotel, or a restaurant, there are all their own names. In the lobby of Wanghai Hotel, there is a huge relief sculpture of tropical Hainan style on one wall. Groups of Li girls in national costumes are singing and dancing. The relief is very well made, and Jiang Chen is considering whether to keep it in the renderings. "Brother Chen," someone called him. Jiang Chen turned around and saw Ji Unqiang sitting on the sofa in the lobby. He was extremely enthusiastic when he saw Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen walked over, sat down next to him, and asked Ji Unqiang, "Why are you here? Where is Jia?" "She is still in Guo's hand," Ji Unqiang said, and Jiang Chen understood that this is where Jia will come next. "Brother Chen, are you here to stay at the hotel or?" Ji Unqiang asked. Jiang Chen was afraid that he would misunderstand, so he quickly said, "I'll come and take a look. This place is going to be renovated. I'll see what the plan is." "Brother Chen wants to design Wanghai Tower," Ji Unqiang said happily, "then when I come here again, I can brag to my customers and say that this place was designed by my neighbor, who is also from Zhejiang Meijiang." "Why do you mean he is also from Zhejiang and the United States? Is there another Zhejiang American one?" Jiang Chen wondered, and then he understood why Jia asked himself what Zhejiang Mei was that night. Jiang Chen almost laughed. He thought that even Lin Fengmian and Pan Tianxiao would never have thought that the Zhejiang Academy of Fine Arts, A national art school that had been a prestigious institution in its early years, would be so blackmailed by these two fakes. The next morning, Lu Ligan got up and saw that Zhang Chen was still asleep, so he did not bother him. He went out alone and started cleaning the building for the day. Lu Ligan was already cleaning the building for the second time. In some office buildings, it was the third time. After sweeping the building for the fourth time, he realized that it was very necessary. In more than half of the companies, the office director had already been replaced by the time he went there for the second time. For directors who have not been replaced in a few months, Lu Ligan will keep their business cards separately and even mark them, because most of these directors, like Li Yong, have some kind of special relationship with the boss and are in the company, and has some say, and belongs to the kind of office director who has real power. Lu Ligan found that directors like this were often less disgusted with his visit again and were willing to chat with Lu Ligan whether they had business or not. They probably also felt in their hearts that this guy had been working for several months. Are still doing this, they should be more reliable than those journalists who are just scratching the surface. Especially from his mouth, you can also learn about the conditions of other companies. Humans are such strange animals. When he suffers, he will feel miserable. He is really the most miserable person in the world. But when he knows that others are suffering and unlucky like him, he will feel that he is not so miserable and unlucky, so he will say, is it bitter or not? Think about the Red Army's 25,000 UN long march. Are you tired? Thinking of the evil old society? Sentences like this appeared. Although the business has not grown much, it will still bring him some surprises sporadically, so that he can at least complete the monthly tasks of the newspaper, so that he can still become Director Huang of the advertising department of Haikan Evening News, looking forward to it, someone who will show up at the office door. The most important thing is that Lu Ligan himself feels that his friendship with these office directors or vice presidents who still exist tenaciously has truly strengthened. Once the water in the spring river warms up, he will be that duck, and the spring breeze will turn into rain, and he will be the duck. The field that was hit first. Because of this belief, Lu Ligan kept washing the building every day, and did not dare to stop for a day. The work of washing the building was very hard, and he finally turned it into a habit. He was very afraid that once you stop, you will give up and stop completely. There was another thought that Lu Ligan didn't even tell Zhang Chen. Although Tan Shehen has not replied, he believes that Tan Shehen has received every letter from him and read it carefully. According to Tan Shehen's character, she must be carefully planning her spring festival trip to Hainan. She will hiding it from his parents and everyone else, he planned carefully. Lu Ligan understood that the reason why he did not reply to his letter was that Tan Shehen wanted to give himself, Jin Lily and Zhang Chen a surprise. Tan Shehen likes such dramatic effects so much. Who made her an actress? Teacher Li once compared Tan Shehen and Su Jianmei in private. They were both his students and he knew them very well. He said that there is one thing about Tan Shehen that Su Jianmei can never compare with, that is, she does not start brewing 3 minutes before she goes on stage, but starts brewing her emotions every morning as soon as she opens her eyes, so when she goes on stage, even if it was the simplest and most rushed stage, her emotions were full and she was ready. Listening to it, Lu Ligan felt that Tan Shehen should have been planning a reunion in Haikan since she received the first postcard he sent from Hainan. Lu Ligan's plan was that when Tan Shehen came, he would incite her not to return to Yongcheng. He believed that Zhang Chen and Jin Lily would also persuade Tan Shehen in the same way, and Tan Shehen would definitely stay. The four of them are very strange, that is, he and Jin Lily seem to be very speculative and talk a lot, while Tan Shehen and Zhang Chen are very speculative and chatty. If he, Lu Ligan, would be taken to task by Tan Shehen was scolded, but Tan Shehen would listen to Zhang Chen's words. Once Tan Shehen stays, Lu Ligan also understands that with the current situation, she may not be as lucky as Jin Lily or Lin Yiyan to find a job so quickly. Lu Ligan feels that only if he has enough money in his pocket, will give Tan Shahan a sense of security to continue to stay, so Lu Ligan must work hard to save money. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 78. When Zhang Chen woke up, he felt dizzy. He quickly touched his forehead with his hand. It seemed that he had no fever. Zhang Chen couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. At this time, you are not qualified to catch a cold and have a fever. Zhang Chen sat up and sat on the edge of the bed in a daze for a while, wondering whether to go to the company or stay at home. The unit had air conditioning and was cool, but no one had the unfettered freedom at home. It was very hot at home, but no one was there all the time. He comes here for no reason and talks to you about Zhang San and Li Si, as if you are familiar with Zhang San and Li Si, and they are all closely related to you. Zhang Chen stood up and decided to wash his face first. After washing his face, he decided to go to the company or stay at home. Zhang Chen still had the same habit, squeezing toothpaste on his toothbrush, putting a towel on his shoulders, and preparing to go to the end of the corridor to wash his face and brush his teeth. He never used a tooth cup when brushing his teeth. Instead, he liked to bend his head directly under the faucet and take a sip. Water, gurgling, then spitting it out. He saw a few sketches on the table that he had drawn at random last night. He picked them up and looked at them, but he still felt nothing at all. He couldn't help but sigh, put down the sketches and went to get the toothbrush. Mom, Zhang Chen couldn't help but cursed. In a word, the toothbrush that had just been placed upside down had somehow fallen over, and the toothpaste squeezed on it fell on the table. Zhang Chen picked up the toothbrush and wiped off the toothpaste on the table with his hands. He didn't wipe it clean, leaving a white mark. He didn't bother to pay attention to him, walked back and squeezed out the toothpaste again, and then went out. Zhang Chen came back after washing his face, put his toothbrush and towel away, and then walked back to the table. He picked up the sketches and looked at them. He felt that they were worse than before. He simply threw these sketches into a corner at the foot of the wall. In the garbage. He looked at the time, it was almost 10 o'clock, and looked at the BB camera as usual, and there really wasn't a single one to pin him. Zhang Chen couldn't help but smile. He thought that this bastard was still a descendant of a soldier. When he really received a military order, he really followed it like a mountain. Zhang Chen decided to go downstairs to eat a bowl of noodles first. After eating the noodles, maybe he would feel like thinking again. He basically decided not to go to the company. Whether he was dead or alive, he just spent his time at home. Yilin's mother was washing clothes in the yard below. She was a little surprised to see that Zhang Chen was still there. She smiled and said hello to Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen also said hello casually. Zhang Chen was about to leave the yard when Yilin's mother called him, put down the clothes in her hands, and came over, as if she wanted to say something to him, so Zhang Chen had to stop. Yilin's mother chatted to him, speaking very fast. Zhang Chen didn't understand a single word of what she said, but combined with all the words, combined with her gestures and expressions, Zhang Chen understood and quickly pretended Tsukuru looked like he understood and kept nodding his head. Yilin's mother finally asked again, meaning do you understand, do you understand? Zhang Chen quickly said, I understand, I understand. Yilin's mother then walked away contentedly and went back to wash her clothes. Zhang Chen knew what Yilin's mother was talking about. Last Sunday afternoon, when the weather was about to get colder, Jin Lily took out the bed sheets for him and Lu Ligan. They smelled a musty smell, so she went upstairs. Wash under the tap. The pool downstairs is larger than upstairs. There is a washboard made of cement next to the pool. It is more convenient to wash the sheets. Zhang Chen and Jin Lily wash the sheets there together. Yilin's mother leans against the door of her house. Keep looking at them. Later, someone detained Zhang Chen at the construction site, so Jiang Chen went to the shop to answer the phone. When he came back, he found that Jin Lily was no longer downstairs. He looked up and saw that she was in the corridor upstairs, hanging sheets and joking with Lu Ligan. Jiang Chen walked upstairs and asked, "Why are you laughing?" Jin Lily couldn't help but laugh, and said, "Yilin's mother scolded me just now. Are you being a bitch for still being so happy after scolding you?" Jiang Chen asked in confusion, "You said you used his pool." "No, she scolded me that I shouldn't let you help wash the sheets," Jin Lily said with a smile. "She told me that in Hainan, if a man helps a woman with housework, he will be looked down upon by others and the neighbors will laugh." Jiang Chen also laughed. Just now, Yilin's mother stopped him and told him about this matter. She must have felt that this matter was very important, so she solemnly informed Jin Lily and Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen walked to an open space next to the billiard table. There was a noodle shop here. Jiang Chen ordered a bowl of noodle soup and added an egg. While waiting for the noodle soup, he saw two guys eating soup. Fan was playing billiards. When it was his turn, he would go over and play a few shots. After that, he would sit back here and eat a few mouthfuls of noodle soup. Jiang Chen heard a familiar voice from one of the guys. He wondered if he was the guy who sang Special Love to Special You intermittently in the middle of the night. If it was him, it wouldn't be surprising. It seemed like what he is best at is playing billiards while doing other things. After finishing the noodle soup, Jiang Chen stood up and shook his head. It was over. He didn't feel smarter than before, but seemed dumber and more confused. Jiang Chen didn't want to go back, so he walked towards the outside of the village. Outside the village was a ruins. On the edge of the ruins, there was a large billboard. On it was a magnificent shopping mall. It was also known as the number one in Hainan, Taiwan, the United States and Japan joint venture, but now, the dream of being number one is dead here. The boss is crying in some corner of the earth at this moment. Jiang Chen found a tree shade and squatted down, lazily looking at the ruins. There was a child driving two oxen to graze. The morning sun shone on the grass and the oxen's plush backs, creating a melancholy feeling. This feeling is very similar to the smell of flying dust that can be smelled in your nose when you recall your childhood. Such clean dust covers your childhood into the past layer by layer. Jiang Chen felt that his brain was broken, like a newly poured cement block in the formwork, solidifying bit by bit, and all his thoughts were buried in the cement block. Jiang Chen stood up and walked back. When he passed the noodle shop, the two guys were still playing billiards, but they had already changed bowls of noodle dishes. Jiang Chen walked over and ordered a bowl of pickled noodles, added beef and tripe, and took it back with him for lunch. Back in the yard, Yilin's mother was no longer there, and there were no tricycles in the yard. She must have gone out to sell goods, and her motorcycle was not in the yard. She told Lu Ligan last night that he would take the motorcycle away today. In this way, Jiang Chen felt that he had no reason to go to the company today. Jiang Chen went upstairs and put the pickled powder on the table. He sat down and took the paper and pen, but he couldn't draw anything. He only smelled the scent of pickled powder. He pushed the pickled powder to the corner of the table, away from him. And then I picked up the pen again, but still couldn't draw anything. He saw the white toothpaste trace left on the table. It was long and thin, so he used his pen to add a head, mouth, and eyes, and then a tail. A white fish sat freely on the table. Swimming, it was swimming towards the depths of the table, towards the bowl of noodles. What Jiang Chen smelled was the smell of pickled noodles. He simply brought the pickled powder over and ate it. The beef tasted good, the tripe tasted good, and the pickled powder tasted good. The only regret was that he had just forgotten to add hot sauce. Jiang Chen's stomach was full. He picked up the foam packing box and was about to throw it into the corner at the foot of the wall. When he saw the sketches, he couldn't help but walked over, picked them up, looked at them, sighed, and put them away. Throw it back again, together with the foam box. Jiang Chen walked back and forth in the room twice, sat down at the table, and picked up a pen. His mind was not empty, but the picture of the child and scalper in the ruins in front of him, so Jiang Chen simply started to draw with a pen. Halfway through the painting, Jiang Chen felt that it was not enough. He felt the blurry feeling of the sun, which was colorless and insufficient to express. He simply went to the sink to get a bowl of water, then took out lead drawing paper and watercolor paints, and prepared to paint. Have a fight. Wen Wen and Qian on the left were already up. They were going to eat something and then go back to sleep. Jiang Chen heard their movements and quickly closed the door. He was not afraid of them, but he knew that Jianqiang and the others next door were about to get up. When Jianqiang saw the door next door open, he would come over and take a look. When he saw him painting, he would definitely yell. Another one from Zhejiang, America. Will definitely come over to see his paintings from Zhejiang May. While watching, he would also clap his hands on the side. Damn it, do you think you are watching a circus or doing magic? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 79. As soon as he started painting, Jiang Chen forgot about everything else and immersed himself in the joy of creation. Jiang Chen is not from the Zhejiang American Art Institute, but he even looks down on those from the Zhejiang American Art Institute from the bottom of his heart. He feels that they talk too much, especially when it comes to the so-called new generation avant-garde art of Gu Wenda and others. They say something that they cannot explain clearly every day, and they think they are profound, but in fact they are just bluffing and weak. A person only needs his mouth if his hands are not good, but if his hands are still good, then his mouth will be fine. It shows that he has other purposes, and for these other purposes he is pretending to dress himself up. You should paint only if you like painting. Everything you have is in your paintings. Jiang Chen feels that no matter whether you are painting, writing or composing, you should say nothing. Politicians, you need to deceive others all day long, right? Are you engaging in art politics? Okay or not, get something out and you walk away and your work speaks for itself. He also took the Zhejiang American Art examination once. He went with a friend who had been painting together since childhood. Looking at the teachers in front of him who were taking the exam, Jiang Chen thought to himself, who the hell are you? Why do you take the exam for me? Just those few strokes of your hair, I could draw them with a pen between my feet. Jiang Chen drew casually and felt bored. It only took less than half the time to get out. Among those who applied for Zhejiang American Academy of Sciences that year, Jiang Chen's professional course score was the first, which shows that Zhejiang American Academy of Sciences is still very powerful. Being able to earn a living based on his ability made Jiang Chen respect him more. But the gap in Jiang Chen's cultural classes was too big. He only got 0 points in English, and only 29 points in other subjects combined. Jiang Chen dropped out of junior high school and never studied again, nor did he take any serious cultural courses. He was already very satisfied with the score of 29 points. What's more, what he still couldn't figure out was, what the hell are you doing? A painter has to take some cultural courses. Isn't this forcing the painter to take it? It's really funny. Jiang Chen has never taken the college entrance examination since then. That friend did not get the marks for the professional courses at the Academy of Fine Arts, but he went to Zhejiang Institute of Silk Technology. Jiang Chen painted purely out of hobby. When he was a child, his family lived next to the cultural center. In the cultural center, there was a painter who was sent back to his hometown from Beijing. Jiang Chen liked to watch him paint when he was fine. It was the first time he saw him finish painting. Jiang Chen was frightened when he saw a painting. Jiang Chen just followed him around at first, doing this and that, and later he followed his example. When he met a painter who had a task and needed to paint propaganda posters on the walls of the street, he also climbed up on the scaffolding at a young age. Climb down. The painter only stayed in the cultural center for a short 2 years before returning to Beijing. At that time, Zhang Chen was in the 3rd grade of elementary school. From then on, he began the path of self-study. He returned home every day, and whenever he had time, he would paint and paint. He would draw on anything he found. When he didn't even have paper or pen, he would wet the mud in the yard with water, take a chopstick, and draw on the mud. He spent almost all his pocket money to buy painting materials. He went there so often that even the clerk at the only state-owned stationery store in Yongcheng that sold painting materials knew him. There was a salesperson from Hangzhou, and he's extremely nice. When Zhang Chen was young, there were many Hangcheng people in Yongcheng, not only because there were several factories in the town that moved from Hangzhou, but also because there were many educated youths who came from Hangzhou a few years ago and later worked in various units in Yongcheng. This salesperson is one of them. When Zhang Chen went over that day, he showed Zhang Chen the newly arrived picture folder and sketchbook. At that time, these two things were rare items in Yongcheng. The clerk asked him if he liked it. Of course Zhang Chen liked it, but when he asked about the price, knowing that he couldn't afford it, the salesperson told Zhang Chen, "You can take it, I gave it to you." Why? Zhang Chen looked at him in surprise. "Because I have finally been transferred back to Hangzhou and will leave here tomorrow. I am very happy. I hope you can also know my happiness and celebrate with me," the salesperson said to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen was already in junior high school at that time. His favorite thing was Sunday, when he could ride a borrowed bicycle and carry a picture folder, almost standing on the bicycle, to sketch outside the town. Once he fell down on the road and his hands, legs and face were all bruised. However, he still insisted on sketching. When he came back in the evening, people on the road were stunned. They saw such a person covered with bruises. A child with blood and scabs on his hair and face was standing and riding a 28-inch bicycle, not knowing what had happened. In the 2nd grade of junior high school, Zhang Chen was drawing in physics class. The physics teacher took away the sketchbook and tore it up in front of the whole class. He was also made to stand in front of the blackboard. The teacher turned around and sat down to continue teaching. Zhang Chen stood there, looking at his torn sketchbook on the ground not far away. He suddenly picked up a small bench behind the classroom door for students on duty to stand on to wipe the blackboard, and hit the teacher on the head. Zhang Chen fled home and never went to school again. His parents' beatings and scoldings were of no use. The principal came to the house in person and assured Zhang Chen and his parents that as long as he returned to school, the school would definitely not deal with him, but it was of no use. Zhang Chen can't say it, so he won't go up. Zhang Chen is a celebrity in the school, and he has also helped the school win honors such as first place in the Blackboard newspaper competition in the province. Almost all the posters and slogans in the school are drawn by Zhang Chen and written by Zhang Chen. This makes the principal every time when accompanying superior leaders on inspections, they received a lot of praise. The principal and head teacher both felt very sorry to have Zhang Chen gone. Privately, they also blamed the new physics teacher for being nosy. Zhang Chen was not just in your physics class. In what class did he not draw? Fortunately, he only cares about his own painting and does not affect others. It is better than those who are naughty and mischievous in class. When other teachers see Zhang Chen painting in class, they will pretend that they have not seen it. Besides, if you want to take his sketchbook, just take it away, call him into the office, write a review and return it to him. Why did you tear it up? Who doesn't know that sketchbooks are his lifeblood? The poor physics teacher's head was smashed open by Zhang Chen, but no teacher or classmate sympathized with him. The physics teacher thought about it later and thought it was a bit excessive. In addition, Zhang Chen was a poor student, but not a bad student. If he really dropped out of school because of this, he, as a teacher, would be uneasy for the rest of his life. He asked his classmates to take him to Zhang Chen's home and talk to Zhang Chen personally. The classmates who accompanied him said that the teacher almost burst into tears, but Zhang Chen still did not return to school. Later, even his parents didn't dare to push him anymore. They saw that Zhang Chen seemed to be very happy and comfortable when he was painting alone at home, but as soon as he mentioned going to school, he immediately turned his face and his eyes were cold. His father said that he had never seen a child with such a look in his eyes. It seemed that he was really cruel. If you force him, don't force him to cause trouble. Fortunately, painting can be considered a craft. If you paint well, you won't be without food in the future. It's up to him. When he turned 18, other classmates who had not been admitted to college were unemployed and still worrying about their jobs. The old leader and artist of the Yongchengwu opera troupe actually came to see Zhang Chen personally and wanted to recruit Zhang Chen into the troupe. The artist was from Hangzhou. When the educated youth arrived in Yongcheng, he was recruited into the Yongchengwu opera troupe. His girlfriend who went to the countryside with him later became his wife. She had returned to Hangzhou long ago and was an actor in the Zhejiang Repertory Theater. My father-in-law is the deputy director of the Provincial Department of Culture. His wife has been active in various places and has been contacted. The Zhejiang Repertory Theater also agreed to hire him, but she was stuck by the old director of the Yongchengwu opera troupe. The old group leader said, "You can leave if you want, but firstly, we need to get 2 household registration quotas from the provincial department for our group, and secondly, we need to find an artist." How old was Yang Cheng? Among the painters, the artist certainly knew who was good at it. He immediately recommended Zhang Chen. As for the 2 household registration quotas, his father-in-law also found a way to help him get them. At that time, Su Jianmei and Feng Logui, they all had agricultural registered permanent residence, and the 2 quotas given to the Yongchengwu opera troupe were given to them. The artist took the old troupe leader to Zhang Chen's home in person. Zhang Chen's parents, as soon as they heard that their son was admitted as a special talent, they immediately arranged a career. How could they be reluctant? Zhang Chen was already familiar with art designers, and they usually called them teachers. When he arrived at the troupe, he also worked in painting, even using paints. He didn't have to spend money to buy it himself, so he was naturally happy. In this way, Zhang Chen arrived at the Yongchengwu opera troupe. The Pentium era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 80. Zhang Chen finished the painting and was very satisfied when he saw it himself. "You are still very powerful, Zhang Chen said to himself, quite proud of himself. Zhang Chen has not painted in the past 6 months since he came to the island. What he means by painting is like today, painting what he likes, or even more sour, it is artistic creation. Although those renderings are also paintings, there is still a difference between them. Just like Lu Ligan did not think that the Legend of the King was his own work, Zhang Chen did not think that the renderings were his own works. They were painted in the theater troupe. Neither are the sets, nor the ads drawn by advertising agencies. The work is a kind of creation, a kind of satisfaction of the heart and brain, just like it is now, and the renderings and scenery are just a means of making a living, a skill, just like a shoemaker can repair shoes, a carpenter can use a planer, etc. Jia groans, nothing special. Thinking of Jia moaning, Zhang Chen himself laughed. Why did he think of this? After laughing, I immediately realized that it was Jia next door who was really moaning. Major hotels only have business at night, and few people will call ding-dong in the room during the day, unless they are professional bird walkers like second-hand people. So Jianqiang and the others were still at home in the afternoon, working on their original business. However, Jianqiang also had to pick out customers. He was no longer impatient and would accept any customer or price he saw on the street. As for Jia, once she feels that she belongs to Jiangmei, she really treats herself as one of Jiangmei. Damn it, my price is 400 and 500. I accept these from you during the day. I am just idle. Just make some extra spare money. With such a heart in mind, even Zhang Chen heard it, and Jia's moans became obviously insincere, and she was obviously trying to cope, appearing so careless and even mischievously glib. Comparing the current Jia with the previous Jia, Zhang Chen felt that if Teacher Li were here, he would definitely say right away that the difference is that one is Tan Shahen and the other is Su Jianmei, although they have the same bright voice and the same cadence. I wanted to stop talking, but... Su Jianmei, can you be more emotional? Teacher Li always said this to Su Jianmei. Why would he compare the former Jia with the current Jia, Tan Shahen and Su Jianmei? Zhang Chen himself laughed loudly. After laughing, he looked at his watch. It was over. It was already past 2 o'clock. Most of the day had passed. The lobby and atrium are still flying in the sky. Zhang Chen quickly picked up the painting, looked at it again, praised himself again, and then carefully put it away. He decided to wait until Saturday to give the painting to Jin Lily. When they left Yongcheng, I didn't bring any paintings with me. Now, I finally have a good work that Jin Lily can take and hang in her room. Zhang Chen spread out the paper and pen on the table again, took a deep breath, took out the sketchbook in his bag, and turned to the floor plans he drew last night. Like building blocks, he tried hard to make these floor plans three-dimensional. You get up, but after working hard for a long time, your brain is still blank. Damn it, it's past 2 o'clock, and you still haven't drawn a single stroke of the manuscript due tomorrow. Zhang Chen, you are so awesome. Zhang Chen cursed himself. He felt that although Jia's voice next door was getting clearer and clearer, it was becoming increasingly hollow and erratic, like that ghost singing special love to special you in the middle of the night. Jia, are you also playing billiards and dealing with others casually? Zhang Chen fell on the bed. He felt that the more anxious he was, the more blank his mind became. He simply stopped thinking about it and lay there, watching the wind outside the window blowing the leaves and blowing some tiny light spots into him. The ceiling of the room was shaking wildly. The spider is still in the corner, but today it has changed its side and is dormant. Zhang Chen heard that Wenwen and Qian next door were up from their naps and singing. They seemed to always have endless songs to sing. The door of Jian Qiang's house next door opened and someone left. After a while, Jia walked through their front window, went to the bathroom at the end of the corridor, and then came back. As Jia came and went, Wenwen and Qinqin singing never stopped. The two little girls sang very well. If they didn't have a mission today, it would be nice to just lie down and listen to them singing. Oops, why are you thinking about the mission again? Don't think about it. Zhang Chen then heard Jian go upstairs, enter the room, the two of them had a conversation, and then went out. The door closed loudly with a bang, which startled Zhang Chen. The singing of Wenwen and Qian next door also stopped. For a moment, Zhang Chen thought they were quarreling again, but it turned out not to be the case. The two of them went downstairs laughing all the way. Zhang Chen was drowsy and thought he had fallen asleep. Then he woke up suddenly and looked at the time. It was almost 4 o'clock. Zhang Chen sighed, stood up, walked to the door, and opened it. Wenwen and Qian were no longer singing. They seemed to be painting their nails, giggling while painting them. Zhang Chen walked to the corridor and was shocked again. He saw that even Yilin's mother was back and was cleaning up the utility room downstairs. She took out a pile of fishing nets, threw them on the ground, and then returned to the utility room. In the room, he took out another oar and put it on the wall beside the pool. Zhang Chen's eyes lit up and he hurried downstairs. Yilin's mother came out of the utility room again and was startled. She saw Zhang Chen standing at the edge of the pool, holding the paddle in his hand and looking at it, as if he had never seen an paddle before. This continent boy, he was still giggling while watching. Brother Zhang Chen, what is that? Wen went upstairs, walked to the corridor and asked when she saw Zhang Chen holding a paddle downstairs. Zhang Chen took the oar in his hand, showed off the energy he used to play a small role in the theater troupe, waved it twice, and said to Wen, "This is the Qing Longyanyu sword." Yilin's mother and Wen were both amused by him. Yilin's mother kept waving at Zhang Chen, meaning, "I gave it to you, take it away, take it away." Zhang Chen said thank you to Yilin's mother and hurried upstairs with the paddle. He felt that the paddle was like a switch. With a click, he suddenly had everything. Zhang Chen picked up the pencil and started drawing. He drew the first oar, and then the second oar, countless oars. These oars rose from the ground, more and more. It is getting thicker and thicker, like the exposed roots of a big tree, and like a tornado. When it rises to the ceiling, it goes out in circles, like a whirlpool, and like ripples, covering the entire top surface. Since it is a boat oar, the entire ceiling is naturally blue, sea blue. The sea blue ceiling needs enough light to hide the lights in the whirlpool formed by the oars. This is not enough and cannot reach the hotel. To provide the brightness needed for the lobby, Zhang Chen was on top, painting water droplets of different sizes and irregularities, which looked like large and small bubbles. The hotel's service desk circled around the roots of the oar. The floor was made of a light gray marble imported from Italy with a hint of crimson and a particularly glossy marble. Zhang Chen imagined that when the lights are on, the light gray ground also glows with a light blue blurred sheen, giving people a dreamy feeling. Isn't the sea the place where most of mankind's dreams are entrusted? Isn't Hainan where people come with a trace of curiosity and reverie, and the longing for the sea? What can better reflect the characteristics of Hainan hotels than a dreamy theme? After the lobby is designed, it becomes simple to go to the atrium of the mall. There are whirlpools and tornadoes made of paddles in the hotel. Then, when you get here, there should be a quiet boat stranded on the beach. The pavilion with coconut trees and grass gives people a moment of tranquility after the fatigue and excitement of shopping. Zhang Chen finished drawing 2 renderings and sat there with a sense of satisfaction. Lu Ligan came back, took a look and exclaimed, "Amazing." Wen and Qian went to work. When they passed by the door, Lu Ligan quickly shouted, come in, let's take a look at your brother Chen's design." 2 people walked in and exclaimed wow, and one said, "It's so advanced. Brother Zhang Chen, it turns out you used that piece of shit to do this. This piece of shit can be made so advanced." Another said, "It's much more beautiful than our KTV." Lu Ligan smiled and said, "Look and see if you hear it. In public space, we need to listen to the voice of the public." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Then should I show it to Jianqiang? He goes to the hotel lobby the most." "Yes, why not?" Lu Ligan said. "You should show it to Jia. When she gets here, she will definitely charge an extra 100 guests," Wen said.